In this episode of Today in World War II, two British cruisers find a nice German surprise for them near Argentina. A Australian pilot becomes an ace in one fell swoop in North Africa. The Germans cancel a very important offensive in Russia because you got a little cold for them. And finally, the SS does another monstrous thing. So let's get started. In December 5th of 1939, two British cruisers were in the South Atlantic. The cruisers were the HMS Cumberland and the HMS Ajax. Now, they were down there specifically because of the German pocket battleship, the Graf Spee, or Graf Spee, whichever way you pronounce it. And if you remember, the Graf Spee had been sent out before the war started. It was all ready to go. The Germans had an infrastructure of supply ships that were there to keep the battleship going, and it immediately started picking off Allied shipping, and it was focusing on the South Atlantic. It made a foray in near Indian Ocean, but for the most part, it kept there going between Brazil, Australia, Africa, and that's it because there's a lot of traffic coming there, lots of merchant traffic. Uh, its mission was never to sink Allied warships. It did not want to do that because you could get hurt, right? You could get sunk. Well, eventually, what happened is that the British sent a task force down there and to knock off to sink that ship. Well, it just so happened in this case on December 5th, 1939, as a result of that, and these two cruisers were part of the task force that was sent by the Royal Navy down there specifically to take out the Graf Spee. Well, they came upon another German ship called the Usukuma, about 500 miles south of Buenos Aires in Argentina, which was getting kind of close to the Cape of Good Hope there. Not Cape of Good Hope, I'm sorry. Drake's Passage, the Straits of Magellan. Anyway, they found the ship, and of course, that ship could not take on two Royal Navy cruisers. So they saw the jig was up and said, "We're just going to surrender." Well, they scuttled the ship before, so it sank, and they were taken prisoner by the Brits, and that ended their little foray into the South Atlantic. So what I want you is to make a foray into the wonderful world of subscribing to my channel. And when you do that, because there's a subscribe button very clearly marked below the screen, click on the bell so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. As you know, I drop these things every single day. Why is that? Because something happened in World War II every single day from 39 to 45, and I'm here to chronicle that for you. So thanks a lot. In on December 5th, 1941, uh, Australia's best pilot, most successful ace, Clive Caldwell, he shot down five Luftwaffe Stuka bombers on one sortie with his P-40 Tomahawk fighter. What's interesting about this is that Mr. Caldwell, uh, he's a good Kaba, good mate. Uh, Sorry for that accent, but he was Australia's highest scoring ace of the war. I think he had like 28.5 or 29 victories, which actually puts him right there on the same line with my favorite ace of the war, Roland Robert Stanford Tuck from the RAF who fought again in the Battle of Britain against the Germans. He also had 29 official victories. But what's interesting is that his other claim to fame, Clive Caldwell, is that he scored the most victories of any pilot in any Air Force that flew P-40s. That's pretty cool because the P-40, it was a little bit obsolete when the war started. I mean, it had its uses. I mean, it was very good. It was very effective diving. The Flying Tigers out of China, they used P-40s. That was the main go-to plane for the Army, U.S. Army Air Force when the war started. But if it played to its strengths, you could be good. But if you tried to dogfight, it wasn't the best plane for dogfighting. But anyway, good for Mr. Caldwell. That was a great accomplishment, and good for the men down under. What I'd also like for you to do today, in addition to subscribing, is to like the video and leave a comment. Do you know why? Do you know why I'm just asking you for that? I'm not asking for charity. I'm asking for your help in helping me get engagement, which means the algorithm will show my content to more people and my channel can grow. So do me a solid, please. Thanks. On December 5th, 1941, the Germans canceled their Operation Typhoon, which was going to be a continuation of their offensive into Russia, the Soviet Union, with the ultimate goal of taking Moscow. Well, uh, it got a little cold for the Germans. Uh, Actually, the temperature dropped down to minus 36 Fahrenheit, or 36 Celsius, whichever one you like, to measure your cold temperatures at. But it was a lot of reasons why they didn't take Moscow. I've covered this in other videos, but I haven't talked about the cold yet. The cold also helped them because the Germans had no clue about how to operate in that kind of weather. Everything was frozen. Their Air Force couldn't. The Luftwaffe couldn't fly. It was a disaster for them, and it was just a series of blunders that got them to that point. One of which being they started way too late. They didn't start till almost the end of June, their offensive anyway. So that was one reason. Of course, now they paid the price. In the meantime, Zhukov, the commander of the Russian armed forces, Soviet armed forces, excuse me, he launched another front, the Kalinin front, against the German forces there northwest of Moscow. He got, initially there was some heavy resistance, but they were at the end of their rope, and with the new Siberian divisions that were coming over, that had been sent over from there, knowing the Far East, knowing that the Japanese were not going to attack. Then they were able to throw these fresh, experienced, crack divisions against the Germans and end up driving them, over 100 miles away from Moscow, and they never got close again. So that was good news for the Allies. And then finally, on December 5th, 1942, the SS, I mean, burn in hell, every single one of you people. They decided to focus on women today. This was their version of Women's Day, but not in a good way. So in the female part of Auschwitz, they did a selection. They caused the women to, or forced women to stand, in front of their barracks. And all day, the Germans went and picked women out, just picked the ones out. You go here, this one stay, or vice versa. And so they picked 2,000 young, healthy, fit women that you would think that they want to use use their abilities and their capabilities for slave labor at least. No, they sent them right to the gas chamber. So just, again, playing God, deciding who lives and who dies, and then having the ones that are to die in a horrible death in a gas chamber. So, God, I hate fascism. I hate it. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I look forward to doing another video for you tomorrow as we continue to chronicle what happened in World War II on every day of that.